and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. And when we are celebrating women in STEM this month, we have listened from professors, postdocs. Now today we have Miss Priya Gambhir with us, who is a PhD student about to submit. So to give a 360-degree angle of how a researcher travels through. So we have listened from all the experienced ones. Now they just got matured as like PhD. She'll get her PhD soon. So a brief about Priya is like she has done her bachelor's in life sciences from Delhi University, master's in biotechnology from MIT University Noida. Then she worked as junior research fellow at National Institute of Plant Biotechnology, IRA Institute, and Jamia Hamdard also she worked. Then finally, she joined PhD in Plant Molecular Biology Department at Delhi University South Campus. With this introduction, I welcome you and I thanks Priya for taking time out for us.
I should thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the experience that I've gained through the entire journey. Actually, PhD is not a destination or a degree, it's an entire journey. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, so starting the conversation, we always start with like how and when you decided that you wanted to be a researcher.
So since childhood, I've been good at grades. So like the entire childhood till my schooling also, I got excellent grades in 10th class. Then I started to pursue science. I was not very much motivated. What I was adamant about that I did not have to take commerce or arts. So there was no option. I had to take science. So it was in graduation. There was a professor of botany when I was studying botany in STTB Khalsa College, Professor Gurcharan Singh. So he used to teach us taxonomy, botany taxonomy. So that is how he used to teach us in such good way that it motivated me to research more on plants. So that is how I was so much into investigation of how the plants have evolved and a lot of about plants. One thing for sure was that I never wanted to go into animal sciences. So it was always about plants because I had zoology at that time also, but I was not very much interested in zoology. It was botany per se. So then I shifted, then I did my postgrad from masters in biotechnology from MIT universities. And the professors there were also good. So the basic thing or the budding thing in me to pursue science came actually from one of my professors, Dr. Gurcharan Singh, and that is how it started. It's just started like how to just go about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when after doing your master's,
yep,
you joined for the full-time PhD. So there was a time when you were working as junior researcher. Was that to check your commitment that you want to pursue a PhD? What was
yeah? That was basically because masters, you're not. It's like you learn a lot of things theoretically only, but the practical experiences you gain is when you enter the field per se. Like you have to do hardcore research in order to learn the basic techniques what are used. So I was trying to get my national fellowship cleared at that time. So I was studying for that as well, but I did not wanted to waste my 2 years. So I thought of joining as a JRF, and basically I learned a lot of techniques. Like theoretically everything is different. Okay, you have to clone a gene, you have to do a replication, you have to clone do a PCR. Theoretically it's all fine, but when it comes to practical thing, a lot of things have to be taken care of. So I wanted to do per se to understand, like, is it what I really want to do, like for the next 6 to 7 years? And yes, it clicked.
So here I would like to tell all the audience that as Priya did, this is the best strategy until unless you are 100% sure that you are going to do something for 6 years, 365 days. Obviously, holidays included in that. But when we talk about PhD students, it is always ongoing research, which is going even when you are with family or with friends. You are always thinking about things because at least till PhD, you have a goal in mind that you have to publish, you have to submit, you have to get the degree. The real struggle comes after that, when
After
many think that
absolutely,
what to do after that. But the
absolutely,
journey, yeah, but the
yes,
journey itself is the best part. As you said, it is not a destination, it is a journey. So
absolutely.
how your journey has been till now, if you can share with us.
So it's not easy. See,
Mhm.
doing PhD is not always roses and sunshine. It is a roller coaster ride, actually, because not all days are going to give you good results. There are going to be miserable days. You're going to fail miserably, and it's not like a 9 to 5 job. Like you are finished after 5. You will come home, and your mind will be still working on why your experiment failed. So you just cannot. It's totally different from a desk job. You are a researcher, and you will come home with things in your mind trying to figure out what went wrong with the experiment. So you have to basically deal this for the next 6 to 7 years. And trust me, at the end of 6 to 7 years, you're going to be proud of yourself, because it's not always research. It tells you more. It will make you understand more about managing your situations, how to troubleshoot. It's not just the results, it's more about troubleshooting and how are you going to do different things at one point of time and managing all of them, like one experiment going, then the other you have to plan and what went wrong. So it's enjoyable, but still very, it will need a lot of hard work from your side. It's not easy. I will not lie to you that it is going to be easy. It is going to be very tough, but at the end, as I said, you'll be proud of yourself.
Yeah, and as you said, troubleshooting. I think troubleshooting is the core of any research.
Yes,
And that's
indeed,
how it
yes.
works. And PhD trains you for life. As Priya said, that you will be proud of you. It's not only you. What research gives you, let have some time to say this to the normal audience, because when we thought about at Empowering Science Foundation, breaking the barrier, we came up with this idea that people know celebrities as celebrities, but the series which we started, Research Celebrities, with the aim of celebrating every single researcher, because normally researchers don't feel that they are celebrity until unless they got Nobel Prize and all. But what we believe is every single researcher is a celebrity. That being said, Priya, now you are a researcher celebrity at the platform, okay? And you now should carry the same thing, that spread this news that every researcher is a celebrity when you are
Yes,
going to
absolutely.
submit
Like
your thesis. Yeah.
it's like negative result is also a result. Like
Yes.
you should not always aim for positivity. Like you are going to get negative results, you're going to fail at some points, but then you have to embrace it.
Mhm.
Negativity, and as you said that every research is important. Just because you're getting good result doesn't mean you're going to do good research. Even negative results are also very impactful. You
Yes.
should never let yourself down that you're
True.
not getting results.
And that's how you mature as a researcher, because those are integral part which is unavoidable. Nobody can say that never an experiment has failed. It fails, it is
Yes,
normal. But the point is how you use those blocks and go to your path and keep on walking. I think perseverance is also an important part of every researcher's life. When
I
you do
agree.
that, yeah.
Yes, commitment. You have to be very committed about your work. You just cannot like stand up one day, okay, I'm not getting results and I should leave PhD. No, it's not that, because some days are good, some days are bad, but you have to be consistent and just committed about you that you have to do it. Even if you're not getting results, just focus, just try and troubleshoot of trying to know what you're not doing well in order to get those results. So
Okay.
that this is troubleshooting.
Yeah,
Pure.
absolutely. So, Priya, when you are now about to submit your thesis, writing it, how important is to go to conferences, present your work at seminars, interact, and make the networking there? If you can say something about those.
It's important because you have to show your work. So when you show your work, you get a lot of ideas. And actually, people who are witnessing or encountering your work in the seminars or conferences, they're going to get ideas that you never thought of. So it's very important for you, and you can actually implement those ideas and get the desired results. So it's very important to showcase your results and get it published, or show it to some seniors who can actually help you get that. So you should not be shy about it. Going to a lot of seminars, conferences, it will actually open gates for you. And you can, the ability to think and actually understand that what is going on, what kind of techniques nowadays are upcoming. So it gives you it's a prelude. It's a very important thing that you have to go to seminars, conferences, and just show your work, so that you can learn a lot of techniques that you can do in order to make your research better.
Mhm. And here I would also like to mention that when you are going and interacting in these conferences, seminars, you never know that your prospective future goal, guide, mentor, you interact with them there, because these places are the places where you should start networking.
Yeah.
Publishing paper is obviously important, but having these networks is what is the icing on the cake. You should never miss this. And as much as chance, either it is national presentation or international, if you are going. So one thing which it gives out of research is, at least now you are out of your lab, you are having fun, interacting with new people, having ideas. Yes, research wise, it is giving you a lot more than that. But being human, enjoying life is also very important. And sometimes what have been seen, that being a PhD student, people actually misses on so many things,
Yeah.
missing
True.
family functions, friends. So what
That's
are your thoughts on that, Priya?
Yeah, see, PhD, a lot of people will give you advice on how to balance your work life as well as your personal life, but it is going to take a toll on your personal life. That is guaranteed. Like, you cannot just go and enjoy functions. As I said, it is going to be always in your mind, like, what is going wrong with the experiments. It is going to be with you. And it's it's research. It's not a 9 to 5 job. You have to be there and consistently doing your work. Since I was in my 6 to 7 years, and with this pandemic thing also going on, it was absolutely devastating for us, because our research was on total hold for 2 years, because it was a complete lockdown everywhere. And so the motivation to get up and go to work was abolished, completely gone. But then you have to do it, because some days are bad, as I said, but then you just have to get up from your bed and go to work. That kind of motivation, if you have, then only pursue PhD, because it is very important. Like, you cannot just stop it any day. As I said, your mental health is going to deteriorate. It is not like you are going to be happy all the days, but it's important, and you'll be proud of yourself at the end. That's
So speaking of mental health, Priya, you brought this very important point. What has been seen in recent times, that students are giving up on PhDs even as long as after 3 years or 4 years, after
four
spending so
years.
much time. Yeah.
I've witnessed it in my department also. People are quitting after 4 years. Like, giving so much time to a research and a department, your 4 valuable years of life, and you're quitting after that. That means something is seriously wrong. It's not that it's a one day thing. It has been accumulated over the years, that it's like a failure. But
Mhm.
I don't understand. It's important to get yourself and that platform, that you have to embrace it. Okay, you have to be mentally prepared of those days, that okay, it's not working out, let's just get a break, start some other experiment, just leave it for the time being and do something else. If you keep on thinking about one thing or one failure, then it's not going to help you. So you have to think of ways to get yourself out of that situation, because quitting is never an answer. even it's not about research, it's about every field, that at some point of time you'll feel stuck and you will want to quit. But then you have to have that patience, that okay, if this is not working out, if plan A is not working out, then let me go to or change to plan B or some other experiment that might give you good results. But you should not quit. But people do quit because it takes a toll on your mental health. Absolutely, PhD is not easy. It's not
So
easy.
yeah, you said that you have seen someone in the department. You might
Yes.
have had interaction with the person. So on the basis of that interaction, what you can say or share, that without saying the names here, that what was the reason that a person who has spent a lot of time, 4 years is a handsome number of times. This year, this duration, they have obviously they got some success. That's the reason why they went till year 4, even
Some
after
success,
troubleshooting.
but the
Yeah.
success was not up to the date or up to par with the professor's expectations. Like it's you have to generate results. It's totally on your professor. Like my professor, thank God I'm blessed in that way, that my professor is like, it's your PhD, you have to justify your hypothesis, you have to work on it. I'm not, and you're not a student anymore. See, you're not a student now, your student life is over after masters. So you have to work your plan, you have to work and decide a plan for yourself. You have to decide the days you're going to come. He really never keeps a tab on what days we are coming or what times we are working on. He just gives us the freedom of how to work, because at the end we have to justify our thesis. It's our life. He is
Mhm.
already a professor. So what I feel is, people generally quit when they are under the pressure that they're not getting results.
Mhm.
And the quality of results also matter,
Mhm.
because it's a fact that you have to compete with a lot of people once you complete your PhD. And in order to get good results, professors sometimes or mentors sometimes put a lot of pressure on students. And this just does not work like that. I have seen people quitting after 4 years just because they were not able to meet the expectations of professors. It does not mean that they're not getting results. It's just not at par with the professor. So sometimes it is pressure from the professors. Sometimes there are some other personal problems. Sometimes at later stages of your PhD, you realize, okay, this is not what I want to do, because there's a lot of pressure. If you prioritize your personal life over your professional life, like I had I'll not take names, but I had a junior in my lab who quit it after like 2 years, because she came to know that, okay, this is not what I want to do. And this is not what I want to do for next 4 to 5 years. This is what I say. Join your PhD or register under a PhD only when you are fully decided that you're going to do this, because there's going to be pressure, there's going to be a lot of things, and you have to deal with it. But you I have seen people quitting after like 3 years, 4 years, just because they do not have results. And in my eyes, they do have results. It's just that they are not at par with your professors.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's just luck, pure luck. Like I have been blessed to go to a lab. Like my professor is very good in in that sense, that he gives us the opportunity. Any kind of research we want to do, he's always open to ideas. You have to have that connection with your professor and keep him updated about what your work is going on, how your work is going, where are you stuck, and he's going to give you ideas. But as I said, not everybody is lucky. So I think it's more on the part of professor, because he has to motivate you, like he has to be there for you when you're stuck at times. And if he's not present, or he's not encouraging you to pass those difficult times, it is really challenging for you.
True. So coming from Priya now, I would like to request all the early faculties or late professors that the kids, they are coming and joining your lab. Obviously, you both agree mutually that you will be a guide, the student will be a mentee, mentor, or that relationship. When it starts with the mutualistic thing, we should understand the feeling, the pressure it brings. Students sometimes are very optimistic. They are very energetic, because when they come just after masters, they think about publishing not anything less than science and nature. That's what most of the researchers, when they're thinking of their PhD, they start with. But with the passing years, they are like just at the end of the 5th, 6th, or 7th year, they just want to submit the thesis and just get away with it. What we believe at Researcher Celebrity is there should not be this pressure. Speaking for myself, the best time of my life was my PhD. I enjoyed it the most. People say school and anything. I was fortunate enough to have mentors, yes, but the same mentors have some of the difficult times with other. So it is also a mutual thing. One person or one mentor or one student, we can never say that one of them had this thing that either one of them is good or the other one is bad. It is just that you have to walk midway.
Yeah, I agree. Even students in our lab also, they have so many problems with the same professor. Like, I'm very happy with my professor, but the other people or other students are my colleagues, they are not happy with my professor. But it's okay. It's like a two-way thing. You have to be, the communication is only possible when you are also ready and he's also at par with your thing. So that is important.
Absolutely. And as Dr. Tiyadak always says, PhD is not a degree, it's a training. And it is a training for which you live for the lifetime. In families, just take the example. Some kids are very good talking and share a very healthy relationship with their parents. Some of them struggle, even just talk to them. Some of them just leave houses. How different PhD or a life of a researcher is from any normal person? I don't see any difference, because it is just the same. You struggle everywhere if you are not ready to change the attitude. As we always say that attitude is a thing, like a bad attitude specifically is just like a flat tire. You cannot go anywhere unless you change it. So either it is for student or for professor, because both of them are researchers. They are just pursuing research. It is just that they are at different stages. And one of the reasons at Researcher Celebrity why we are celebrating women in STEM specifically is like there has been incidences where people have struggled just based on their genders. So we want to break that barrier. Empowering Science Foundation believes in breaking the barrier, and at the same time giving a 360-degree view to a researcher who wanted to know beforehand that, okay, I am ready to commit, but let me hear that what people have experienced. A problem of a professor is different, obviously, because then they will say that, oh, the student is not working. Sure, student will say the professor and me are not working together. None of them are wrong. It is just that you have to walk through the middle ground where everyone agrees to disagree also. There is nothing wrong in that. If you feel that PhD is not your cup of tea, there is nothing wrong in moving out. As Priya also mentioned, 2 years, it's still good until better than that if you suffer for next 3-4 years also. So at least you're saving yourself that suffering.
Yes. Learning after 4 years that this is not what you want to do is worse than getting to know early stages of PhD. Okay, that I don't want to do this. So it's always better. You can always switch your careers, but don't just stick to it that, okay, I'll pass and I'll somehow manage. It's just, okay, research, I have to submit. No, because it's just the start. PhD is the start. And after PhD, then you have to do a lot of things. So PhD is just the start of your career. And if you take it so easy, like, okay, I'll do it, it will happen once I get registered, nobody's going to stop me from getting a PhD. Okay, this is not how it works, because you have to train yourself. It's a training, because postdoc, you're going to pay, you're going to get paid for it. Nobody's going to train you at a postdoc level. Everybody's going to train you at the PhD level. You're going to learn troubleshooting, because once you enter the postdoc field, you have to have that knowledge. There's a lot of competition. You just cannot survive like this.
Priya, you brought a very important part about getting trained in PhD and then performing in your future career. It can be postdoc, faculty, wherever you go. That is whatever you have learned in the PhD. And that's why, again, going back to the statement that PhD trains you for the entire life. So if you have done the basics right, nothing can stop you.
Nothing, yes.
All.
If your base is strong, everything else is going to be perfect. Like you're not going to, obviously, you have to learn techniques as you move into your life. Like you cannot learn everything at a PhD level, but once you learn it, it's like some basic techniques are common to everything. You are getting trained at PhD level, but you have to deliver results at a postdoc level. That is something totally different. Your guide is not going to say anything to you per se at the PhD level, also postdoc level. But postdoc level, he will be expecting more from you. Like you should be knowing this. The kind of is this, you should be knowing this. But at PhD level, you're bound to get or make mistakes. It's okay because it's just a training phase for you. But at postdoc or in industries or wherever you go after your PhD, you have to get results. You have to get some product out of it. So that pressure is always on. If you cannot sustain the pressure at the PhD level, the pressure or the amount of pressure at postdoc level is completely different. Like I have heard from my seniors, they are in different areas of the world, mostly are in academics only, doing research only. And it depends, although from lab to lab, but the amount of pressure is very much because you're getting paid for it and they want results. You just cannot enter and say that, okay, I learn this technique and do it. Obviously, you have to learn certain techniques, but then they are expecting this from you. The professor is going to expect this from you, that you will do this. You will do this. So, but at the PhD level, even if you try it and do it, like you fail first time, you fail second time, but you still have time, and there is no pressure from your guide to, okay, you're going to get results in your first go. No, it's just a training phase. Like it's just PhD is like this only. No
So
trouble.
speaking of which, Priya, how was your training period now? Because you are going to submit the thesis, you soon will be a doctor now. So how was your roller coaster ride?
Mine was good. As I said, I am blessed that way that my professor is a very gentleman kind of a person. And he does not object to a lot of things. Like he's not very strict about timings or days or schedule. He just wants results. Some days are like you have to get up and go to your professor because he's so much busy with some other academic stuff that he just does not have that amount of time. Since he's due his retirement, he's very close to his retirement, and it's like you have to get up. In my case, my professor will not come and talk to me. I will have to go and get, and I have to show him my results. And because you learn this in every lab, this is different. You have to learn how your professor mind thinks, and you have to learn their technique. So every professor is, some professors are going to have a meeting every few days. Some are going to not even ask you, like my professor. This is what you have to get to. Like you have to build up, as you said, there's a midway and you have to make that midway. And in my case also, my professor is very good. For that matter, I did a lot of things. Like some days I failed, but I then had to get up and go to my professor, and he will not come to you, but the point is he'll give you such good ideas that you have to implement, and you'll just get good results. Some days, in fact, even I had a lot of mental breakdown. And since being a girl and doing PhD at a later stages of my life, like I've crossed my 30, and pressure from my family of getting married, and then just about to submit my thesis. So it's like overpowering, and you have a lot of things every day in your life. But then my professor is really cool in that fact. Okay, take one thing at a time. Let's not worry about a lot of things. Prioritize your work. If this is not working, then go to B. And he gives you really good advice on why it is not working, what else you can do. So my journey was actually good. Earlier, in earlier stages, I was not able to get any publication. Like as I said, not every day is a good day, but later stages, like I'm in 7th year of my PhD. I got registered in 2015. 2 years I could not work. My plants, like I work on tomato. Tomato has a very big life cycle, like 6 months. And the kind of promoter I used was a ripening specific promoter. That means you cannot carry out your studies before the ripening stage. So you have to wait till 6 months for a generation. And in crop plant, you need to work on T2 generations. So at that point of time, I was raising plants, and suddenly COVID came and everything just came to a halt, complete halt. So it was devastating for me. But my professor is a good man. Actually, he understands your situation, and I had to put in a lot of effort to like get good results. And he was always very supportive of what I'm doing. He gave me that advantage. Okay, if this is not working, then he used to give me a lot of advice. And even I had to read a lot of papers, because he's not very up to date with a lot of recent techniques. So I used to go to him and, sir, we can do this, sir, we can do that. And it was always an interactive session for me. So I usually came out from a sir's cabin very motivated. Okay, if this is not working, it's okay, we'll try something else. And this is how, like, I eventually developed one thing, that it's okay if do not get results. If you do not get results, if things are not happening according to what you have hypothesized, then there must be something else that is working. So you should not be disheartened of why you're not getting a desired result or as an expected result. Something might else would be working. So it's important to understand and give yourself time. And as you go into later stages of your PhD, you actually understand that it's important for you to write down everything. Like it's important for me, because I have a tendency to forget things easily. So later stages of my life, I had to, in my PhD, I used to write down a lot of things, like troubleshooting basic things. I used to write down and show it to my professor. So this is what I said. Even like I did EMSA like very late. So even if I was doing a binding reaction, I would go to my sir and made him check those reactions also. So he was very helpful that way. So it's a two-way thing. Like you have to have a good rapport with your professor if you want your PhD journey to be smooth. So I was very lucky that way. And that is how I got good papers, because he did not give me a lot of pressure of getting good results. I still remember see, the paper I got published in plant physiology. It was a dream come true, because from India, we do not get high quality or good research papers for that matter. But I got that paper and he was very happy, because it was a dream come true. So even we were earlier thinking of submitting it to a smaller journal. So the data was less, but he was okay with this. But then he motivated me. Okay, if this is not working, then try for something else. And in search of doing that, we got such noble results that the data got published in a bigger journal. So it's good. It's like a roller coaster. I was very happy for that matter. See, as I said, some days are good, some days are bad, some days are miserably like bad for you. But then you have to get up, go, and because it is, if you love what you do, if you love doing research, then nothing is going to stop you. Even if you are failing, even if you do not like, you're not getting good results, but if you love what you are doing, you'll get up every day and go to lab. This is the kind of motivation you should have while doing PhD, because it's not a cakewalk. It is absolutely not a cakewalk.
Absolutely. And I think what Priya mentioned about love, that is one of the most important ingredients you should have. If you love what you do, then you will never feel fatigue. You will never be stressed about it, because this is something which you love, which is making you every day wake up from bed and you are excited to go to lab. But if you don't love, it is just opposite. You don't want to get out of your bed. You don't want to go to lab. You don't want to perform the experiments because you don't love it. So love is first part. And then second, for all the PhD students, learning comes from reading. Okay.
Yes.
Read as
Read
many
and
as
read
paper
and
you
read.
can. Write as smallest detail of your experiment as you can. If you're sometime changing from 1 microliter to 1.2 or 1.5 microliter, mention it, because you never know. This is something which will just change the journey of your PhD, and then you're like, now I will do everything this. But if you miss it, you will always keep on troubleshooting, because one day something worked, another day it is not working, because there was this tiny thing which you haven't written down. So write as much as details of your project you can, because then it is good for the newcomers also, who takes your work as guidance and then start working on that. Third, writing the publication before your PhD. It is mandatory. It is good for academics, but it is good for yourself also. It boosts you, as Priya just said. She could have published that paper in somewhere else. It is not about the impact of the journal as such for journal. It is in our brains, when we are happy about. Frankly speaking, publication is a publication, doesn't matter where it has published, but it gives you that much of positive energy that, oh, I published in this. And that day when you get that acceptance from a thing, then you are on top of all the skies. Not even 8th, 9th, 10th, you are like just out of this world. You feel you are on Mars and enjoying partying there. This thing takes this toll of years of work. It doesn't come just by itself.
Yes, I agree. Even if your paper is rejected, don't get disheartened. My professor always used to say that every paper has a destiny. If it does not get published in a particular journal, go for another journal. Just don't give yourself that pain, okay, that my data is not getting published. Every data is going to publish if you want to publish it.
Yes.
That is absolutely true. That is what my professor says. And it's always better that you get your paper or your data published before submitting your thesis, because once you submit your thesis, it's very difficult to come regularly, because your mind is open. Okay, I've submitted, I will have to move forward, and it's very difficult for you to carry your work after, because you will be in search of postdocs also. You will start wondering what to do after PhD. Then you have to really put your efforts to go back to lab and do all that work. So it's always better to just submit, and before submission your data should be published. Every data is publishable if you want to get it published. Just, it does not matter, the journal does not matter, but publishing is important. Even if you submit and go outside, it does not matter. Obviously good journals have their own reputation, but it is more important to get your data published, and that is that is how you're going to get your postdoc position or whatever you want to do in your life. Because as as someone who's going to hire you after PhD is not going to see the training process. He's just going to see or look at your publication profile, what you have done, and that is how he's going to get a hold of how good you are. The publications also, it's important to get your data published.
Yeah. And speaking of the future, Priya, what are the future goals from now?
Speaking of future, I have like thought of a lot of things. Like some days I want to take a break and then start with my postdoc. And some days I don't want to carry forward with the research. I would want to enter into an industry and do some like really product oriented research. But then it's always related to science. I never want to quit and enter into another field like MBA or do something else. It's always related or very specific to science. But then I'm confused. I would always want to stick to plants per se, and I'm currently looking for good positions in good like universities, but plants only. Like postdoc research is what I want to do. And India, I want to go abroad and because abroad is totally different from India. You have to have that experience, how well they are doing, the kind of quality of research they are doing, the kind of equipments or the things they are doing to get, how are they getting such good papers? That's altogether a separate story. So I need to experience that. This is what I want to do. Like I got at an early stage of life, I got to know what I love. And research is my love. That is why, even after PhD, 7 years of struggle, my family thinks that I'm mad. Okay, you're going to study all your life. But then it is what I get matlab, my endorphins are released thinking of research. And this is why it is important for me to stick to this field and just be happy about it. Even if I don't get good money or postdoc or something like that, I'll be very happy and content, like, because this is what I want to do. Even if in India I get a postdoc or go outside for my postdoctoral studies, I'll be happy because research is my love.
Absolutely. And we thank you. We just finished our conversation time. So thank you very much, Priya, for sharing the journey, and good luck for your future research. Keep the
Thank you
passion
so
going.
much.
For our audience, we'll say stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. We'll see you all soon. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.